We're dealing with the twins in this situation, right? I can't think of anything else. Interesting shot here. I think the drinks were still hot in that scene. Like you could see steam coming out. What a way to shoot this scene, if I'm being honest. Like, it has this horror vibes to it. A part of me is kind of glad that this isn't Gomi in the situation, but at the same time,
I need some backup out here.
Okay, on their way.
I have a feeling that this officer is not going to last long.
You understand me? Do you speak English? Hablas inglés? I said down, on your knees, down.
Oh man, what a reveal though. Out of focus, but oh. What a well shot opening though. Like that entire opening was well shot. There's a lot of really good, clever uses of cinematography here and there. Really good.
Now, unfortunately, this one is the model, so...
Yeah, I like it. Name one thing in this world that is not negotiable.
Now, I suggest that you add this to your Monday schedule.
Well.
Button off. Doesn't hold auto control until it beeps.
Man, I love how calm Gus is in this situation. Like, he knows how to assess things.
Go easy.
You know, out of all of the characters that I thought we're never going to get much of, would be Badger. Like, I thought we're only going to be seeing him once in the first season. But I'm kind of glad that we are still sticking around with him.
So, you good? Yeah, good.
Who's watching them? This camera angle, though. Yeah. Oh.
Brandon Mayhew. I know you.
Yes, he does.
Small world, Albuquerque.
Yes, it is. I love that. I love how the camera angle immediately tells you that something's off here. And sure enough, Hank was. Yeah, the cinematography in this show has been just getting better and better and better. Hats off to Michael Slovis, who's like the DOP. Interesting. Wearing blue. Skylar's color, right? I love it. It contrasts with all of the red in the scene.
Taking you to school, to and from, every day?
What? I don't get voting this either? I gotta stop going with Lewis just because you're feeling guilty?
I do feel guilty.
You
know what? Call me crazy, but I'm actually feeling very good about the future.
Red flags. Who's watching him? The twins, obviously. Yeah. I love that small little like change between the two. Like they're just staring at each other like, They keep staring at him. It does add more and more tension the longer you linger and wait about it, you know? Which this show has done exceptionally well. I love that little nod, like,
Hello there. Mr. White, I presume?
Oh, yes, hi.
hello? Who might you be?
Hi, Gail Bedecker.
Gale.
I received my bachelor's degree from UNM, my master's from the University of Colorado.
The immediate stark contrast between this guy and Jesse. Like,
Sumatran beans. And I also have to give credit to the grind. Thank you, Mr. White.
Walt. Please, call me Walt.
hmm.
Why the hell are we making meth?
Wait, what? Oh, this is the, I mean, I've seen that meme before. This is a nice change of pace. Like, you definitely feel the difference between Walter working with this person, with Gale, and working with Jesse. But something is definitely off.
Gail, I'm wondering how you...
Ended up here.
Yeah.
Still wondering how I ended up here.
Great shot.
Because it's all still magic. You know? Chemistry? I mean, once you lose that,
It is. It is magic.
when I heard the learned astronomer.
This is such a unique dynamic.
When I heard the learned astronomer. When the proofs, the figures were ranged in columns before me. When I was shown the charts and the diagrams to add, divide, and measure them. When I, sitting, heard the astronomer where he lectured, with much applause in the lecture room. How soon, unaccountable, I became tired and sick, till rising and gliding out, I wandered off by myself in the mystical, moist night air, and from time to time looked up in perfect silence at the stars. Yes, I am a nerd.
We get that. Yeah. We'll talk more about that later.
Hello.
Nice cut. And Walter's reading the book.
Do you remember if this Pinkman kid ever had an RV?
Yeah.
Won't.
Ah. That was dirty. Walter's the one who's calling Jesse?
What? Mr. White.
Listen, we've got a problem.
A DEA problem.
Okay, I'm listening.
So.
Plan A then.
Go. Get to it before the feds do.
And do what? Exactly. I mean, what? The thing is the size of it's RV size.
Starship Enterprise had a self-destruct.
Destruct button. I'm just saying.
Okay, shut up.
Oh man. I love these sequences of events as they're trying to get rid of the RV. Again, really well done in terms of like building tension.
Now listen to me. I need your help, okay? If I go down, we all go down. Do you understand?
I know a better way.
The sense of urgency, I love it. And it is through Badger that Jesse knows about all of this. Okay. Okay.
Badger, I don't care how. You find out where he's taking it.
Fuck. And now Hank is gonna... Okay. Problems. Hank doesn't know what Jesse was talking about though. It's not like he has like super ears or something. But he is following Jesse, which is a problem.
Excuse me, are you leaving?
These two. Oh my god.
Cuando baje el sol.
I know most of these scenes are not meant to be funny, but there is that sense of comedy to them that I just find hilarious.
This is mine just as much as yours. You don't get a just. Oh God. What?
This is a problem. No. Okay. Shit, I thought the episode was gonna end. I was like, oh no. We're in a somewhat similar situation back in like season 2 episode 3, right? How is Walter going to get out of this mess? Somebody has to distract Hank from the outside, that's for sure. Oh man, I love the direction that they're going for in this. Oh boy. I love the way the lighting works in these two shots, right? Light and dark.
I'm the owner of this lot, which means you're trespassing on private property. Probable cause usually relates to vehicles, is my understanding. You know, traffic stops and whatnot.
Man, the man knows his words.
Look at these.
Oh my god, that is such a good shot. The bullet holes. It's like Walter's being shot at that moment as well.
This is my own private domicile and I will not be harassed. Bitch!
The way Walter's like, but this is so well done, though. This is so well done. Cool shot. And now we're still stuck in. Oh my god! I love this episode. I love this section of this episode so much. This is peak Breaking Bad, in my opinion. These moments filled with tension, and I love it. And of course, Jesse and Walter working together again.
It's me. We need your help.
Mike or Gus?
I'm sorry to inform you that your wife's been in an automobile accident. She's being airlifted to Los Ranchos Medical Center and should be arriving there shortly. But I think you might want to get there as soon as possible. You're gonna have to start paying me more.
You sly dog. You sly dog. You almost had. Oh, they got me. They got me. They actually got me. I genuinely thought that somehow Mike or Gus or whatever actually. Man. They fooled me. What a shot though. Man, the shot composition, how everything just falls into place. Ah, I love it. It's great.
Marie?
I'm just checking in. I'd love to have some idea of whether I should cook dinner or not.
This is so well edited.
Why?
The desaturated tone and then just full color again. This is amazing. This. Peak Breaking Bad. Wow. And where is Gus going here? Alright, Sunset. Meeting with the twins.
Ya les había dicho, no van a matar a Walter White. La decisión no la suya para hacer.
We'll see about that.
A su primo Tuco, ¿sí? Pero él no fue quien lo mató. Un agente de la DEA.
Shit.
Al norte de la frontera es mi territorio. Como muestra de respeto.
I will allow you to. Fuck.
El nombre de la gente es Hank Schrader.
And he knows, but wow, what a shot. And Gus knows because he went to Hank's office right before, and then he knows about like Walter and his. This was a really good episode. This was a really, really good episode. I really enjoyed this episode a lot. I think there's a lot of really, really great stuff in this episode. The cinematography, once again, being a huge standout. Some of the editing in this episode was really good as well. I love that moment when Hank was franticking through the hospital, searching for Marie, and then realizing that Marie is fine. I love how it is edited. I love how there's a lot of these frantic cuts. I love how muted the entire color scheme in that specific moment was until the realization where everything goes back to normal, where Hank in a way returns back to reality and realizes that he's been duped, right? He's been lied to and he got the bait. And especially the way some of these scenes were directed, more specifically the ones that are trying to elevate the tension in the scene, right? From Hank arriving to the RV with Walter and Jesse in the RV and trying to figure out like what to do and how to get rid of all of this and how to, you know, get out of this alive and uncaught. It was done masterfully, in my opinion. It really was. Really love that moment when Hank was opening up the some of the duct tape that was hiding the bullet holes, and then it just reveals the bullet holes through Walter White's like body, like bam, bam, bam. Kind of like, in a way, Walter was being shot during that moment. I really love how they did that. I really do. And for the most part, my biggest praise for this episode is around that second half in regards to Hank, in regards to Walter and Jesse. Like that's like the best part of this episode. The first part was really good, but the second half, that's when I was all in. That was when I was fully engaged with the story, fully engaged with what that part is trying to do, and it was really great. It was really great. A lot of things that was also, again, like the way they elevate some of those tensions is that we don't really know what's gonna happen next, right? Especially with like, let's say like the part where Walter was calling somebody during that moment, like he thinks of, I know what to do. For a moment, I actually thought that he was going to be calling Mike or Gus for a favor. The thought of Saul Goodman did come to mind, but at the same time, it's like, if Walter calls Saul, then Saul is probably going to use Mike or somebody else to do the dirty work, right? Like Saul is only going to be doing it from like his office. So for a moment, I actually thought that Marie was in an accident and that was like being, and it was, you know, and it was real, but it wasn't. We never really saw the crash happen, where I'm actually just believing the words of that lady that was like Saul's assistant, and she was pretty convincing. Like I actually thought that Marie was going to, you know, was going to be hurt in the situation, because that would be like showcasing both the consequences of Hank pursuing this mission, this goal of his, and also a consequence for Walter for being in the situation and realizing how much he is sacrificing in order for his own being to be alive and well. Obviously, that didn't happen, but it is a glimpse of what could happen. Like, what if Marie was actually hurt? What if this was real? Like, what are the repercussions? What is Walter gonna do? Like, a lot of these things are all in my mind currently, and I cannot wait to see how it all plays out later down the line. Because that's the thing. In a way, we are still in the beginning of Walter and Jesse's relationship. Because they've been up and down a lot of times, you know, they've been on and off throughout seasons 1 and 2. Season 3, especially right now, this is when, okay, after everything that has been said and done, after the fact that Walter and Jesse has tried their best to go along their separate ways, they're still gonna come back again, and I feel like at this point, this is the part where they are gonna be back. They are gonna be working on the math lab that is underneath, like, the laundromat and whatever. And they're not going to be separated. I feel like at this point, once they finally settled their score and they've agreed to help each other out again, I feel like they're not going to be separated after this. Until perhaps probably like series finale stuff, you know, like when everything is all gone to shit and they have like no choice but to separate. But I feel like seasons 1 and 2 have been building up to this moment in season 3 where they are finally being together as a unit between Jesse and Heisenberg, right? So that is something that I'm really looking forward to seeing, because we know their relationship. Because even in this episode, we kind of got a glimpse of what it feels like, or how it may feel like if Walter decided to not be with Jesse and be with Gale. No disrespect to Gale. I think Gale is a pretty interesting character in and of itself. The way he is pretty much basically like a more introverted version of Walter White, you know, like somebody who knows about all of this stuff, you know, the chemistry and radiology and all that stuff. Like, he knows all of his stuff. You know, he could be on the same level as Walter White in terms of like knowledge, as in if Walter White talks to Gale, then they can have a better understanding. Whereas if Walter talks to Jesse and Jesse's like, yeah, science, like Walter is literally talking to a student in that sense, right? He needs to tell Jesse what to do, and that's fine for us as the audience because we are kind of in Jesse's situation as well, at least for me, and I'm going to assume a lot of other people because not all of us really know about the chemistry and stuff, okay? Like, let's be real here. None of us don't really know about that. Some of us do, right? But for most of us, we don't really know much about that stuff. So it's cool for Walter to actually, you know, use Jesse as a means to educate us, the audience, about how to make meth. on how some of these things work, right? Of how chemistry and how things react to other things, where every action has a reaction and every reaction has consequences. But with all that being said, seeing Walter and Gale work together, there is chemistry, but it's like passive, if that makes sense. It's not as reactive as Jesse and Walter, where you have these opposing forces at odds with each other, and yet they always create one thing in common, right? Whereas here, it's like everything is perfectly smooth sailing. Like, they do this, they do that, they agree with things, they don't agree with things as well. And they ultimately, it's like really, really, what's the word? Safe. It's all safe. Almost curated to the point that maybe Gus chose Gale so that Walter will not have some form of berserk moment where he's like, nah, screw all of this, I'm leaving, you know, like somebody who will agree with Walter and knows how to handle Walter and knows anything that Walter also knows, so that he can keep tabs with Walter, you know, like so that Gus will have this what's the word I'm looking for? This assurance that Walter will not go ballistic during creating the blue meth like how he does with Jesse. You know, like very few arguments and all that stuff. Now, in regards to the learned astronomer, the one, the thing that Gale was talking about with Walter, let me look that up just for a bit. So here's what I can gather, and correct me if I'm wrong in regards to my assessment to the poem itself. But the poem revolves around this person, right? This person who, in a way, is an academic, you know, a person who has all of this knowledge that he has acquired, and it seems that he grew tired of it, right? The line where it says, "When I sitting heard the astronomer where he lectured with much applause in the lecture room, how soon unaccountable I became tired and sick. Till rising and gliding out I wandered off by myself." In a way, it does describe Walter White, right? In a way, it describes how Walter is this person who has this level of knowledge that he has acquired, and yet he doesn't use that knowledge for what it was supposed to be used. It's not just for academic purposes. No, he's using his knowledge of chemistry to create meth. So I do love that symbolism between the two. And I do love that in the episode, Walter was reading, I guess, a book that is also by the author, Walt Whitman, which kind of funny. And I guess this is deliberate that the poem is made by somebody whose name Walt and the initials are also the same, like Walter White, Walt Whitman. Like, there's something going on here. There is something going on. I can definitely tell, but I don't know what it is yet. But there is that level of connection. I don't want to venture deeper into Walt Whitman and his story, his real life actual history, because I'm kind of afraid that that might lead me to some spoilers for Breaking Bad, but the connection is there. I just don't fully see where it's going to go just yet. But the idea that the poem, because it was such an impactful moment, I would say, like that moment when Gale was reciting it, it feels iconic, right? It feels like this very iconic moment, like it's designed to be iconic, where where it's just the two of them. There's no music, complete silence, and the way Gale delivered those lines, it was like slow enough for the audience, for me to process what it is that he is trying to say in relation to the overall theme of the show. And that theme is, of course, revolving around Walter White and how he, the genius that he is creating something like this. And that in that conversation between Gale and Walt, there was also this talk about like how chemistry is magic, and the magic is still there according to Walter, right? It's this creative vision of being able to create something out of nothing. The mystical moist night air, and from time to time looked up in perfect silence at the stars. It's like looking at, what's the word? It's like looking at the infinite possibility that he can create with the knowledge that he has acquired. At least that's what I'm reading. Again, could be wrong, could be right. Like, I don't think there's any right or wrong in terms of analyzing something and corresponding it to some form of analytical symbolism, but I would really love to know your thoughts on this and how you interpret this. As long as it's not like fully spoilers, like if it's like if you do know the meaning about all of this, like let's say the creators flat out said like, oh, the meaning of this is because of this and that, and it may be a spoiler, then I'd rather not you tell me about it. But if it's not, then let me know, because I think that it is one of the more discussion-worthy moment of Breaking Bad. I think that's pretty much it for my discussion for this episode. I know not too much to discuss, but I feel like, again, I think I made my point clear. This was one of the, one of my favorite episodes of Breaking Bad. The stuff towards the second half of this episode has been really, really good. The direction, the cinematography, the build-up of tension, all good. All good. And we still have a lot of these, like, side plots that are still building up, right? Especially with, like, Gus and the twins, like, it has something to do with Hank, and I'm really worried about Hank now. Like, I really am. Because now it's like everybody's going against him. So who knows? Thank you all so much for tuning in to my reaction and my review discussion for Breaking Bad. If you do enjoy this video, hit the like, subscribe, share the video, and I will see you all next time. Take care, have a nice day. Peace.